Welcome to the Banter and Bliss Podcast. My name is Jason. I'm here with my gorgeous co-host, Allie.
Hey, everyone.
And today is episode 16. Yeah, episode 16. We're going to talk about love languages today.
Yay.
I know I closed out the last episode talking about that, and it's kind of been on our mind. Didn't want to disappoint you guys and gals. Make sure we follow through on that in our words. So talk a little bit about love languages, talk about our love languages, and
Why it's important.
yeah, super important.
Yeah.
Super important. It's actually funny. I got a friend of mine back in the day before when my last relationship ended. I remember he told me about them, and he was like, yeah, me and my wife, we struggled with some stuff, and then finally we were able to kind of, I don't know, get on the same page. And he mentioned about the love languages, and he mentioned the book. And so I went and bought the book and went through it. That's how I ended up finding out about it. I don't know how you came about it. You probably don't remember.
I wish I remember. I don't.
Permanently concussed.
I don't, at all. Usually I remember that kind of stuff. I might have seen it somewhere, probably online. I don't think anybody told me.
Long-term memory?
Not with that. I mean, there's things I'll remember, but I don't think that was major enough for me to remember.
Yeah. So, what do you think is so important about love languages? Why do they matter? Shouldn't people just not give a fuck and just whatever?
Yeah, you can, if you don't want to be in a relationship with somebody. It's like, yeah, you could be selfish and not give a fuck about anything, and then you can probably be happy with yourself and move on with your life. But when there's another person involved and you're actively in this romantic relationship and hoping to build a future together, there's rules to that. And I think the rules and laws, universal laws.
Yeah, but I bought you all those gifts. Why don't you show me love?
Yeah. I mean, there's probably a lot of people actually that is their main love language.
There's a reason why I said that. Why don't you kind of explain a little bit? Because I'm sure that is a conversation and comment that people have made. Why don't you kind of explain what that means and why why does it matter?
He picked gifts because that was 1% my love language, out of the 5. So yeah, it just it doesn't affect me. It's a nice gesture, but that is not how I want to be loved. And everybody is different in the ways that they need to be loved. I grew up in a very physical, affectionate family, household, cousins, aunts smothering me with kisses. And I feel like that was kind of the foundation of why I enjoy physical touch so much. And then also my top one is now words of affirmation. And I think that's because of maybe it has something to do with my love for books and reading and stuff. And I can just appreciate words and sentences and a collective thought. So I feel like those are really important to me right now. But it's also important, those may be important for me, but you may not give a fuck about those. And that's fine. But you're going to have your choice. And in order for us to be happy together, we have to figure out what are the things that are most important to you and what are the things that are most important to me. And we make sure that we meet those. And then the people that ignore those, I don't know what they're expecting.
They would call me back in the middle of the podcast. Anyway.
Oh, your
state stuff.
Yeah. Oh, it sucks.
Yeah, no, I mean, that totally knocked out my train of thought, what I was going to say. Yeah, everyone's different, but I think it's important to note too, because, you've mentioned to me, obviously, you've been in past relationships where it was like that, right? Where it's like, oh, they buy you a bunch of stuff,
buy you a bunch of
whatever.
stuff, or like take me to like a cool bar or something.
Yeah, and it's meaningless, right?
To me, well, yeah, because it was like,
well, sure, people like that,
those are cool.
but I'm saying in the context of you.
Yeah, those were cool like gestures, and I had a lot of fun going and doing those things. But like literally, I was just like, just hold my hand, just cuddle with me, let's just watch a movie, let's make out. Like literally, I just wanted those simple things, and I kept getting experiences like out and about and with friends and cool things, and I'm just like, I don't need that right now. Like I'm lacking physical affection right now, and I want that, and I don't need the other stuff. But that was the way he showed love. That was his love language. So he needs to find someone that their love language is like quality time or gifts.
Well, and so that's another important thing I think to mention is that your love language, there are two types of love languages. Now there are 5 love languages, and I think there's maybe even like another 2 that like author like came out with or whatever.
Oh,
But
that's cool.
there's 2 types of love languages. There's the love language that you give,
Yeah.
and the one in which you receive. And they're not necessarily the same thing. For
No.
some people they could be, and for us or for me, I feel like it has been a lot of that, where it's kind of similar. But yeah, it varies for everyone. Um,
You're big on physical and acts of service. Those are
yeah,
your
yeah,
giving.
those are definitely my 2. What are the quality time? Well, I think quality time is important, but I feel like we already spend a lot of quality time together. So it's like I don't.
Well, so those are like,
Yeah.
I would say those are like our base. Like we're already like hanging out and talking and stuff, but like when I need help with something, you like literally like will just check my computer and be like, "Wait, let me see, like, did Neil fix it?" Like you really like go out of your way to like fix technology for me or whatever it is, And so I feel like those are the moments that you're showing. But when we're just like hanging out, like that's just us like living our life.
Yeah. Yeah, the service one definitely was not a thing for me. It really is. It may be like it's weird because we went back and forth about this regarding the physical and whether certain something I consider that to be a physical or a service
Yes.
or something within the realm of both of
It's
those.
physical.
It is physical. It's like it feels like it's a service, right?
Well,
like
it can be, but I don't think it falls under that category.
it's a yeah.
It's more physical. Well, yeah. See, that's a good debate to have.
See, and I'm not. Yeah,
But it is. It's physical, so it has to be under physical touch.
I don't know. Yours feels like more physical, where it's like you. Yeah, I don't know. Because yours, the physical don't necessarily automatically imply that it's like sexual.
But when you like, when I ask
Me
you
on
to
the
like
other hand.
give me a massage, that's physical, even though that's like a service. It's the same principle.
Yeah, see,
It's physical. I need to be touched.
it's
It's not about you doing something for me. It's I need to be touched. I could go pay someone to do it, but you're there, so I'm gonna have you do it.
yeah, it's a weird. I don't know. Then how do you define its service? Just means any service that's not physical?
Like fixing a problem or helping me with something.
So then my receiving is not service, but my giving would be service because I don't really ask you to help solve or fix stuff really.
No. No, your giving is acts of service.
Right.
Like you helped me with my invoice yesterday,
Right.
the Excel thing, or my
Computer,
RAM,
yeah. And then so my receiving
your
is
physical touch,
physical
and
and
quality time.
quality time. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Huh. So anyway, the point of that is that basically you can have multiple of these, and some are your giving love languages, and some are your receiving. So we went into all this, and we didn't kind of give a little bit of context in case people don't know. So there are 5 love languages: quality time, physical acts, acts of service, physical acts. It's physical touch, quality time, acts of service, gifts, and
Words.
words of affirmation. And so with us, with the words thing, it's really funny because I'm not the type typically that like will go over the top. Like I don't know. I feel like when I say something, I like really mean it, and you know that I mean it. So when I say something, you know I'm not bullshitting you. But I don't necessarily always do stuff like all the time. I mean, I think I give you plenty of words of affirmation. But the question is like, do you just do it just to make someone feel good, or do you do it because you truly feel that way? And
I think you have to do both.
but what's interesting, but this is why I brought it up. This is interesting, is because you talk about the words of affirmation, and I mean, besides obviously you're attracted to me physically, but when we first met and stuff, what was one of the biggest things that attracted me to you was my articulation, right? Like my like we wrote a lot, right? So I feel like that's what a lot of it. I mean, obviously, like I said, in a relationship, any relationship, obviously you have to be physically attractive. So once that's there, check, then you can observe the other things, right? If there's no physical attraction, the relationship's not going to go anywhere. Like you can, but it's just, I don't know. It feels like then they're
You're
just
a
a close
buddy.
friend. Yeah, they're like a close friend, not someone you need to be doing that stuff with. So with us in that regard, I feel like that had to have played a large role after the physical attraction.
The words. Well, the thing about us in particular is I didn't remember what you look like because I hadn't seen you in a while. But I had the words.
Right.
So.
Well, what else would it have been?
Besides your voice?
Well, yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, because if you didn't see me, then there was no physical touch. There really wasn't acts of service. I mean, I think I helped you on a couple things or something, but well, yeah.
You did help me through a panic attack.
Yeah.
When you barely even knew me. Which was like a big deal. I told my dad.
Yeah. Does he still know? I think you told me, and then you're like, "Oh yeah, that was that guy." But
maybe he probably forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I think. I feel like all of my boyfriends have been physical touch, except one of them. I feel like
forgive, receive.
For receive.
I mean, that's another thing too. Is I think the dividing the line between men and women. I feel like most guys are probably physical receive, just because guys in general are visual creatures. I assume it's like that's going to be a given.
Yeah.
Probably, and the only one that wasn't, closet door over there.
That's what everyone says.
My theory.
Oh my god. Anyway, yeah, it's an interesting thing, and I think this is something couples should always dive into right away. And revisit, throughout the years, because mine changed. I used to be physical touch, and then somehow they all tied for second now.
I still feel like we need to do it again. You didn't do the test properly.
Why do you say that? I took it online.
Yeah, and I took the test from the book.
But it's the same test.
I don't think so. I think someone customized that. It was slightly different.
It's literally the website.
There weren't enough questions. Her values, she says they were tied. She had the literal exact same amount for each one. Like, it was so obvious that it's like doing some sort of experiment, and your result is like 75%, 100%, and then you look at the sample size and it's like n equals 3. It's like there wasn't enough data. Whereas the one I did, I think it asked me it was like 50 questions or something. I think yours was like 20 or something. It was just.
I don't think so. I just went really fast because I just clicked. It's like click, click, click. I don't think it was as small as you think it was. But we could take it again.
I have a gut feel you'll get a different result when we take it.
Okay, how about you take the online one and I'll take your book one?
You want me to take the shitty one? Yeah, we can do that. I think we'll probably have to, because
Final note. Are there benefits to us having known each other's love languages?
Were there benefits to it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think. Well, I think there's benefits. If you know someone's love language, yeah, that would help tremendously. Obviously, you don't really realize and know that stuff until you're like in a relationship. You have those conversations, if you have those conversations, or if you're, watching football.
What we did was we took the test and then we wrote down in categories, like for physical touch, we wrote down everything we would want for physical touch, for words, everything we would want to hear, quality time, what we like. We literally have a sheet of everything down to the detail per category. And yeah, I thought that was pretty fun. The fact that you took the time to do that, I don't think most guys would do that.
Yeah. It depends on the type of person you want. If you're, looking for someone with quality and, substance, more than just they look fuckable or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I think is like kind of the standard for most guys. And some guys, that ain't even a fucking standard. It's like, oh, vagina.
Yeah.
I don't know. Never been like that. But yeah, that stuff's important because you spend so much time with people. How are you going to be able to spend time with people if you don't even enjoy their company? So I think it's important. I think you should take the test. You can find the book at Barnes and Noble or Amazon or whatever. You probably could find a PDF online for free if you want. Whatever. I think the book's like $10. I don't know. It's like the 5 love languages. It's like a pink cover, something like that. So feel free to check it out or take the test online if you want like horrible score like she got where it doesn't work. And yeah, but I think I would advise it, and I think you would too. Worth taking, worth getting to know your partner, because it's going to make everything better. Because then it's like, especially from a guy to whatever guys are listening, girls are like impossible to understand, right? They're just in their own realm of whatever, and they do their own thing. But if you understand the love language and you know what your partner's love languages are, then you know what you need to do to basically satisfy them, and to because not everyone's the fucking same. That's the point. You don't care for gifts. So if I was just doing most of my acts of whatever for gift giving, then that wouldn't be good. And that works out for us because that's not mine anyway. And I don't even, it's like, whatever. I don't care. No one needs to fucking buy me anything. It's like, you know, so
Yeah.
that's my final say on that.
Yeah, definitely important. It's important to know yourself, which is why we talked about the personality test. And it's also important to get to know your partner, especially if you're in a committed relationship and you want it to be long term. You got to build those strong foundations.
Well said. All right, I think I need another coffee. So we're going to go ahead and call it there. Thank you guys for joining. Appreciate it. Tuning in with us on episode 16, Love Languages. We are going to do our next episode. We're going to try to do a
Ghost.
I was going to say spooky. She gave it away, right?
Sorry.
A spooky. We have a couple of things that we want to talk about with like ghosts and aliens, stuff like that. And we're gonna try to probably do them like night podcasts too.
Flashlight under.
Yeah, flashlight. So we'll see. Maybe we wanted to try to do it last night, but then we didn't. So maybe we'll try to record tonight or sometime this weekend. But anyway, hit the like if you like the video. Please sub, hit the bell, get new notifications from us, and we will be tweeting out twitter.com/Banter and Bliss. The link should be underneath here somewhere. Feel free to check in on new episodes weekly-ish. And yeah, but otherwise, thank you guys for joining. Have a wonderful day.
Bye, everyone.